Hi everyone, Alexander is here. We are going to create this simple animation like this where we will use rigid body physics. And let's straight to the business. Let's create our cube. We will raise it along the z-axis. Excellent. Let's go to edit mode. We will delete the top face and make our box a little bit lower. And then let's apply the scale and set origin to geometry. Then let's add few loops to our geometry so that the materials lay down more evenly, and we will also add the solidify modifier. Let's set offset to 1, and I think thickness about 0.015. Yes, like this. We will also add the bevel so that it looks more natural. Let's see how it looks. Yep. Overall, I like it. We will immediately add the new plane, which will be our background. We will rotate it 90 degrees on the x-axis and move it further away. We will add the camera and the cube on which our box will stand. Then let's make sure the cube is positioned so that the box stands on it. We will scale it down a little along the y-axis and move it so that we will like everything. Now we will position the camera in the place we need. Before that, let's work with the display settings in the viewport. I don't really like when I see unnecessary things, so let's make it darker and let's add the composition lines, making them blue so that they are better visible. Yep, like this. And now let's place our camera the way we'd like, so that it looks from the bottom up, slightly at angle about 20 degrees. We are guided by thirds. Let's be like this. Excellent. And now let's proceed to simulations and physics. What I want to show you in this video. Perhaps you have suffered from the fact that even such bound things as rigid body sometimes does not work the way we would like, and especially with the objects with which we would like. There is one technique where we use primitives which are more predictable in physics and proxies for our real objects. Sometimes this can reach the point of absurdity, and this is what I will try to show you. So let's start by trivially creating the cube. We will scale it down, we will apply the scale, and give it a rigid body mesh. As you can see, upon the contact with the surface of the box, the cube being to jump and behave unnaturally. We can try to play with settings. Let's increase the friction and decrease the margin. And we will see what comes of it. We are checking and it works. It seems one cube together with one box behave normally, but it happens that adding another cube with the same settings, everything breaks. So let's check now. We duplicate it via Alt, so as not to create new objects in memory for calculation. We run it and it works well. Excellent. Now we try it on amount of 4, and at the same time we will change the size of some of them. Excellent. It works. Yeah, as you can see, it works. Perfect. Let's try and play with friction settings again. Let's play. And we see that reaction a little bit glitchy. Therefore, let's just return everything as it was. Okay, perfect. Well, we are moving on the most interesting part. We will be adding our elements, objects, and blah blah blah. You can use whatever comes to mind, but I like to use this free add-on with elements like this. The idea is to add an object, place it inside the primitive we created, in our case it's cube, adjust the size of the proxy primitive to the object that will have in the render, and set up parent keep transform. And be sure to disable our proxy from the render. We added this cube and let's see what it comes off it. Yep, wonderful, it works. Now let's create our next object. I like this one. In essence, we will be doing the same things. We will add the object, place inside our proxy, and adjust the size and shape of the proxy to our object so there is a minimal free space, right? Again, we will make our main object dependent on the proxy and turn off the primitive from the renderer. We will run it again, we tried, everything works, and now we will add a couple more objects. Okay, excellent. Now let's step by step increase the number of our objects, duplicating them through the Alt so that Blender does not have to calculate each new object 100 times. We will increase the quantity several times, we will check. It works. Okay, let's continue increasing the number of objects, gradually checking how well our box is filling up. Right now it looks quite good, but too many objects are flown outside our box. At the same time, it is not completely filled. Just increase the distance between the object and it will work. We will put all our objects into a separate collection and we will not bake them for now because we'll still have a lot of things to do. And what next? I found this kind of claw meshing model, which is already rigged for us. Thanks to the author for this work, let's use it. We will see what size use and where our meshing should ultimately be located. And we will start to animate it. Let's define to ourselves very short and clear timings. On the 130 frame, our meshing will be at the final point. On the 100 frames will be appear now. On the 60th frame, it will appear exactly over the center of the box. Within 1 second, the mechanism will go down. From the 19th to the 100th frame, the meshing will close, and by the 130 frame, the meshing will rise to the required height. So this is what we will do. First, we will animate the movement of the in the object mode, and then we will go to the pose mode and do the same. Okay, wonderful. I will set the time lapse here, so I think you guys know how to animate, right? So now the question: when our meshing goes down, it must interact with our object, right? So let's reach the point of absurdity and again use the proxy. Trivially, we will take an isosphere, which will be bent into the shape we need and exactly repeat the animation. Okay, let's repeat the animation, make the same keyframes for this object, like this. Yes, we are checking and it works. Okay, excellent. Now we need to get something out of the objects. So let's not think for long. Let it be an iPhone. We will place it at the final point the way we like, so that everything looks organic. And again, we will exactly repeat our animation, knowing all our keyframes. And again, we will use the proxy. We will create the cube primitive, we will adjust the size of the phone, we will repeat the shape, we will make it invisible of the render, and we will repeat the animation. And let's check how it iterates with the other objects. Okay, we check and excellent works. And I'm turning on the time lapse for shading and setting the light. I remind you guys that everything's shown now you can watch in the previous video on the channel which shows how I set up the light, and you can also grab the source materials for this video on my Patreon, including the add-ons I used and everything. So excellent, let's launch the render and see what happened. Yep, I like it. I would like to say that ideally it would be good to do object randomization there so that they can follow more chaotically, right? Move them along the axis, rotate, mix, randomize scale. And that is what you strictly need to do yourself so that the video turns out complete. Nevertheless, I think you caught the essence of this video and you will like the results. Therefore, subscribe and wait the next video.